drops to the greatest hits. This is Trash Can Tidbits.
Happy holidays, everyone. I hope everyone is managing to stay warm. I'm Beaton, and welcome back to some more fun Trash Can Tidbits for this week leading up to Christmas. Last time, I asked the question, what song from the Phantom of the Opera did Charles Hart provide the words for that got him the job of lyricist? The answer is, Think of Me. The show's first lyricist, Richard Stilgoe, had originally called the tune What Has Time Done to Me, and it served as Christine's first song in the show. Andrew Lloyd Webber wasn't happy with Stilgoe's original lyrics, so he secretly gave a cassette tape to his producer, Cameron McIntosh, to give to Hart. Eventually, he came back with the lyrics you hear in the show today as the song Think of Me, and both men were very impressed. Lloyd Webber met up with Hart soon afterwards and offered him the job of being the lyricist for the show. Stilgoe is still credited with an additional lyrics by credit. Now, with that addressed, let's get started with fact number 1. Did you know that in the original novel of A Christmas Carol, Scrooge's love interest in the Ghost of Christmas Past scenes doesn't have a name until later in the story? Charles Dickens used she/her pronouns in the young woman's place. In the second stave of the book, which is another word for chapter in Dickens's day, he gives her name as Belle, short for Isabel. She shows up later in the story during the Ghost of Christmas Present sequence as having married another man and a family of her own, and that is the first and only time her name is said aloud in the book, spoken by her husband. Most movie adaptations have had her name as Belle ever since. Fact 2. Did you know that there's a reason why Miles Morales of Marvel's Spider-Man fame doesn't have the same last name as his father? Miles' father is named Jeff Davis, an officer of the NYPD, and quite obviously was named after the famous jazz trumpeter Miles Davis. Jeff married Rio Morales and subsequently went to go work for S.H.I.E.L.D., and they decided it would be safe for Rio Morales to retain her maiden name for protection. By the time Jeff left S.H.I.E.L.D. and returned home, it was too late for Miles and Rio to change their last names back to Davis, but they remained married. And either way, Miles Morales still fits with the alliterative names of most of Marvel's repertoire of characters. Fact 3. Did you know that the original Nintendo Entertainment System was not hyped prior to its release? The Japanese version of the system, the Famicom, was released in Japan in 1983 to really positive success. The same year, the United States was suffering from the video game crash, where the market was oversaturated with lackluster games and systems. When Nintendo pitched the idea of the Famicom in the US, it was overwhelmingly rejected. 2 years later, in 1985, Nintendo rebranded the Famicom for Western audiences as the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES, and quietly released it in a small toy store in New York City. Super Mario Bros. Was a launch title, and the system eventually became a huge success and saved the gaming industry. Ever since, Nintendo has had worldwide releases for all of its systems. Fact 4. Did you know that one gag in It's a Wonderful Life was a total accident? In one scene, when lead character George Bailey's brother gets married, he has a conversation with his Uncle Billy, played by Irish character actor Thomas Mitchell. Uncle Billy has had a little too much to drink, and George points down the street so he can walk home. After Mitchell walks off screen, a loud crash can be heard, and he's heard shouting, "I'm alright, I'm alright!" What had happened was that a crew member from off-screen accidentally dropped some heavy equipment, but director Frank Capra thought it sounded more like Uncle Billy walked into some trash cans on the sidewalk, and Thomas Mitchell quickly ad-libbed his response and kept going. James Stewart can be seen chuckling in the shot, and the crew member accidentally got a bonus for his accidental adding to the scene. Fact 5. Did you know that there was no explanation given as to why the Phantom of the Opera in the 1943 film was obsessed with Christine? In this film version, the Phantom, whose real name is Eric Claudin, played by Claude Rains, is a violinist in the orchestra who is dismissed due to arthritis. He had used his salary to secretly pay for voice lessons to the young Christine, the girl he develops an obsession with. After Claudine becomes the Phantom, he starts killing people so that Christine can be the main soprano in the company. Now, the movie doesn't give an explanation as to this obsession, but the original shooting script contained a subplot that was ultimately cut out. It was revealed that Claudine is Christine's father, and he had left his family when she was a baby so that he could focus on his music career. When she came of age, he was too ashamed to reveal the truth to her, but the only way he could think of to stay in her life was to secretly pay for her singing lessons. That subplot was filmed, but was unfortunately cut out, and it's a shame because it would have addressed a major plot hole. Fact 6. Did you know that actor Charlton Heston's own newborn son played his character as a baby in one of his films? One of Heston's best-known roles is that of Moses in The Ten Commandments, and his wife was getting ready to have a baby by the time production began on the film. The film's director, Cecil B. DeMille, deliberately timed it so that after the baby was born, it could still be a newborn by the time those scenes were filmed, without knowing for sure if the baby was going to be a boy or a girl. The Heston family did indeed give birth to a son, Fraser C. Heston, and it's even rumored that DeMille sent a courier to the hospital with a message, "Congratulations, he's got the part." Fraser Heston would grow up to be a director, even directing his father in the 1996 family adventure film Alaska, and a 1990 version of Treasure Island, in which the senior Heston played Long John Silver. Fact 7. Did you know that an original cast member of the Broadway and film versions of The Miracle Worker would revisit the work almost 2 decades later? Patty Duke, who starred as Helen Keller in the original Broadway production of the play The Miracle Worker in 1959, would reprise her role in the film version, despite some criticism that she was too old to play Helen at age 16 in 1962. However, the role brought her critical acclaim and even an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. In 1979, she starred in a made-for-TV version of The Miracle Worker, this time, of course, playing Helen's teacher, Annie Sullivan, and won an Emmy Award for her performance. Facts 8 and 9 come from my friend, Tio Drohan. Did you know that most of the modern adaptations of The Addams Family have featured a Latino actor playing the role of Gomez? Previous adaptations had featured American-born actors playing the role of the patriarch of the family, most notably John Astin in the original television show. But with the first feature film, Gomez was played by Raul Julia, an actor born and raised in Puerto Rico. He played the character again in the film's sequel, Addams Family Values, but sadly died in 1994. In the modern CG animated Addams Family films, Gomez was voiced by Oscar Isaac, another Latino actor with Guatemalan heritage. Prior to voicing the role, he was known for playing Poe Dameron in Disney's Star Wars sequels trilogy. And most recently, in the Netflix original series Wednesday, Gomez is played by Luis Guzman, a Puerto Rican character actor bringing everything full circle. In addition, Jenna Ortega, who plays Wednesday, is of Puerto Rican and Mexican descent, making Wednesday in this iteration the child of a mixed-race couple. Fact 9. Did you know that Toy Story's Buzz Lightyear and Woody were both Santas at some point? Buzz's voice actor, Tim Allen, starred in the 1993 film The Santa Claus, and has loyally played the role in its 2 sequels and Disney Plus sequel series, which also just got renewed for a 2nd season, by the way. Tom Hanks, who voices Woody, not only played the majority of the characters in Robert Zemeckis' film The Polar Express, he also played Santa Claus. The sweet irony of 2 movie icons who are toys are also being played by actors who have played the role of a character who is known for delivering toys to children on Christmas. Thank you so much for those facts, Drohan. That really helped me this week. Fact 10. Did you know that Walt Disney himself tried to adapt Beauty and the Beast into an animated film not once, but twice? The first attempt was shortly after the release of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and the second was attempted after Cinderella was made in the early 1950s. He and his team unfortunately couldn't come up with a suitable story treatment. For example, in some versions of the fairy tale and early treatments, the Beauty character has 2 sisters that treat her like a servant. Obviously, those had to be omitted because they would have been too similar to the evil stepsisters in Cinderella. And the Beast himself becoming ugly was done under entirely different circumstances. the project was ultimately shelved. Walt himself presided over only 3 princess movies in his lifetime: Snow White, Cinderella, and Sleeping Beauty. It wouldn't be until the late 1980s that a new team led by Jeffrey Katzenberg tried again with the words of Linda Wolverton, the first woman to write a screenplay for an animated film, and the music and lyrics of Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, that they were finally able to strike cinematic gold, and then, well, you know the rest. And here's this week's trivia question. With the announcement of the newest installment of the Indiana Jones series, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Harrison Ford will be playing the role one last time. But I'm not going to talk about Indy himself. I'm going to talk about his best love interest, the feisty Marion Ravenwood, played by actress Karen Allen, who appeared in the original Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan has stated that he named Marion after his grandmother, but her last name came from an interesting place in Hollywood. My question to you is, true or false? The name Ravenwood came from a restaurant in Los Angeles. And there we go for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks again to Tio Drohan for providing those amazing tidbits for Facts 8 and 9. I sincerely wish you and all of your families a happy and safe holiday. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell to be notified for future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.